Discover how Mama's fitness plan unleashed baby puppy Ginger's incredible soccer stardom. In the heart of Maple Grove, where every sunset casts a warm glow over the picket fences and neighbors wave greetings like clockwork, Sarah fought to juggle two jobs while being the best mom she could be. As she prepped for her morning workout, Mia bounced around with Ginger, their spirited puppy, bringing laughter and joy to their small home. Each day, they swept through sunlit yoga poses on the lawn, intertwining play with fitness. Ginger would leap, wagging her fluffy tail, as Mia giggled, "Look at us, Mom, we're in the Olympics." And for Sarah, this simple routine was more than a workout. It was hope. It taught Mia the value of hard work. Sarah envisioned a life where they wouldn't have to worry about bills or late shifts. They were a team her heart swelled with pride. As summer warmed the town, excitement peaked around the Maple Grove's annual community event. There'd be races, games, and most exhilarating of all, a puppy soccer tournament. Mia, inspired by her mom's dedication, decided to train Ginger. The two practiced tirelessly every evening, kicking around soft soccer balls, their laughter echoing through the streets. "We're going to win, Mom. Just watch," Mia declared, eyes sparkling with determination. On tournament day, the park buzzed with energy. Families gathered, kids squealed, and soon the sounds of cheers and thumping paws filled the air. Sarah's heart raced, feeling a swell of pride as she watched Mia harness her enthusiasm into determination. "Go, Ginger," she shouted, cupping her hands around her mouth. Ginger dashed onto the field, showcasing her unexpected talent as the crowd squealed in delight. But the euphoria ebbed as Coach Bill, a pillar in the community, but also an elitist figure, approached, frowning as he scanned the field. A mutt like that shouldn't compete, he grumbled, arms crossed. His words were like ice water on Sarah's hopes. How could he dismiss Ginger's spirit because of her background? The once joyous atmosphere thickened with tension as whispers swept through the crowd, many siding with Coach Bill. Sarah felt a knot in her stomach. She glanced at Mia, who'd heard the murmurs and wore a confused expression. This wasn't just a game anymore. It was a blow against what they believed in. The community Sarah loved began to view them skeptically. Friends turned away, their smiles faltering under the weight of expectation, social inequality manifesting before her eyes. In the days leading up to the tournament, Mia pulled away. "Why do you even care about this? You make it all about winning?" she shouted in frustration one evening. The air crackled with misunderstanding, their bond teetering on the brink. The passionate dreams Sarah held for her daughter began to feel heavy, burdensome. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As the tournament day dawned, Sarah felt the weight of a community divided. Ginger was more than a puppy now. She was a fighter, a symbol of resilience. As the whistle blew, the field was filled with shouts of joy, but Sarah sensed an underlying tension brewing among the parents. Those cheers echoed, Yet a thread of discontent lay just beneath the surface, threatening to tear at the fabric of their town. Would Sarah have the courage to stand up for Mia and Ginger? And could Mia learn to navigate this complicated world while keeping her heart full of hope? The stakes were high as they stood on that field, caught between love and expectation. The whistle blew, and the game commenced. Ginger darted across the field, her small legs moving in a flurry of fur and determination. She was quick, faster than anyone expected, and Mia was right there with her, directing her movements with enthusiastic shouts. "Go, Ginger, over here." The crowd roared as Ginger intercepted the ball, her instinct taking over. Sarah felt her heart surge with pride. It was more than just a game. It was a dance between a girl and her dog, a celebration of their bond. But then she saw Coach Bill, standing off to the side, arms crossed tight against his chest. His harsh glare pinned down the excitement like a heavy weight. He wasn't alone. A group of parents murmured among themselves, stealing glances, some shaking their heads. Sarah's heart sank. Could they see what she saw? Wasn't this moment about joy, connection, and love? "Just keep playing," she encouraged Mia, determined to shield her daughter from the negativity. But Mia caught sight of the parents, her enthusiasm wavering. "Mom, why are they looking at us like that?" Sarah knelt down, meeting her daughter's eyes. "Honey, don't let them bother you. They don't know what we know. Just focus on having fun with Ginger." Mia nodded hesitantly, her lips trembling as she turned back to the field. The game moved on, but the tension was palpable. Laughter turned to whispers, and every missed kick felt like a blow to both Mia's spirit and Sarah's heart. But then, something shifted. Ginger repelled a goal attempt, leaping like a little superhero. The spectators gasped, then erupted into a chorus of cheers. Mia beamed, a fresh wave of confidence washing over her. "That's it. Good job, Ginger." For a moment, it felt like the world had fallen away. The judging eyes softened, replaced by laughter and voices rooting for their team. In that little bubble of joy, Sarah felt hope. But just as quickly, Coach Bill yelled, his voice sharp as broken glass. "No way should a dog like that be stopping goals. This is an embarrassment." The cheers faded, whispers reignited. Sarah's stomach twisted. She looked at Mia, who now wore a confused expression. "Don't listen to him, Mia." "He's wrong," Sarah said, trying to weave strength into her voice. "Ginger is special." "But they think we're a joke," Mia whispered, her face falling again. "I don't want people to laugh at me." Not knowing how to respond, Sarah took a moment, her heart pounding. This wasn't just a game anymore. It was something deeper. It rocked the very foundation of the values they'd practiced together: resilience, kindness, and unity. But could she be brave enough to confront this? Could her daughter learn that sometimes what truly matters is not winning, but standing up for what you believe in? "Hey," Sarah stood up, her voice louder now, cutting through the whispers. "You know what? This is about more than just a trophy. It's about love and teamwork. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there." The crowd quieted, almost in disbelief. Sarah's heart raced. Had she just stepped into a world of confrontation? Mia looked at Uxwaib with surprise. For the first time in days, she smiled, a flicker of courage igniting within her. Would this moment inspire the community to embrace diversity, or would it deepen their divisions? As Sarah braced herself for a reaction, The air crackled with uncertainty. Would love win out over judgment? The battle was just beginning. With a silence that felt like a thunderstorm waiting to break, the crowd absorbed Sarah's words. For a fleeting moment, she believed something had shifted. But then, a murmur rippled through the spectators. She could see the lips moving, the glances exchanged like sharp knives. What does she know? Someone from the sidelines commented, their voice laden with derision. Just like that, the warmth threatened to evaporate. Sarah felt the heat rising in her cheeks, a mix of anger and fear for her daughter. Coach Bill's eyes narrowed, and he looked ready to strike again. "Let's keep the focus on the game, folks," he barked. "Dogs have no place in sports." The air thickened with unspoken words. But Sarah had awakened something in herself, a fierce protectiveness that radiated outward. She took a breath, steadying herself like a captain steering her ship through a storm. "No," she said clearly, "let's focus on what truly matters." The crowd shifted, some glancing at each other, others looking directly at her. Mia, still near the goalpost with Ginger, lifted her head, the spark of defiance ignited in her eyes. The dog wagged her tail, oblivious to the tension, ready for the next play. "Everyone deserves a chance," Sarah continued, "even if that's a dog on the field. Ginger may not be what you expect, but she's got more heart than most athletes out here." Encouraged by her mom's words, Mia shouted, "Go, Ginger. You're amazing." Slowly, a smattering of applause began, tentative at first, but then growing as more parents chose to support the team despite Coach Bill's cold authority. The sound broke through the weight of judgment, offering warmth against the chill of criticism. Sarah felt a wave of hope flood through her veins. Could they really be changing hearts today? But suddenly, a loud voice interrupted. "This is ridiculous." Coach Bill bellowed, arms flailing in exasperation. "You think you can just parade a dog around and call it teamwork? That's a joke. You're embarrassing the league." It felt like a punch to the gut. As the murmurs picked up, Sarah watched the expressions of disbelief on the faces around her. But this Chimmy, instead of withering, she's stronger. "No," she asserted, moving forward. "This is about acceptance, about showing that not everyone looks the same or plays the same way. What Ginger lacks in traditional skills, she makes up for with spirit and love. We need to support each other," Mia added, her small voice rising to meet her mother's with newfound strength. "Ginger is my best friend, and she makes me happy. Isn't that what matters?" A tension that had hung in the air suddenly snapped like a taut string. It allowed a crack of brightness to shine through. Some parents began to nod. Others trading glances that might have held understanding years of hesitation, melting into something resembling admiration. Sarah felt a rush of gratitude towards her daughter, her brave little warrior. They were in this together, and together they could change minds. As Coach Bill scowled, Sarah took a deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage within her. Look around. You want to be part of a community that embraces differences and lifts each other up, not tears each other down. In that moment, she caught sight of Mia's hopeful eyes, filled with a mix of fear and excitement. Would they embrace this shift? Would the gentle bond she had fostered with her daughter and Ginger resonate with these hardened hearts? The referee blew the whistle, signaling the end of the game. It was clear they had stirred something, but would it be enough? As the crowd started to disperse, Sarah's heart raced. She sensed a shift, but it was one long battle toward change. Would the community rally behind this new vision of acceptance, or would they let the echoes of doubt drown out the voices of love? "Mom," Mia asked, hesitating as they headed towards the exit, eyes flicking back to the group of parents. "Did we really make a difference?" Sarah took her daughter's hand, squeezing it tight. "You did, Mia. You showed them what it means to love without limitations." But as they left, she couldn't shake the gnawing uncertainty. Would the whispers fade or return stronger than ever? The connection between them felt deep, but the true test loomed ahead. Would they find courage among the skeptics, or would they have to fight every step of the way? As they walked away from the field, the afternoon sun hung low, casting long shadows behind them. The cheers and jeers echoed faintly, fading but not forgotten, leaving a mixture of hope and anxiety swirling in Sarah's chest. She stole a glance at Mia, who was now animatedly discussing Ginger's latest antics. Her excitement a bright spark in the lingering tension. "Did you see how she chased the ball?" Mia exclaimed, her eyes wide, and the catchy. "I bet she could be a superstar." "Absolutely," Sarah replied, forcing a smile, but inside her heart clenched. Mia's innocence about the harsh realities they faced kept a flicker of hope alive. "Mama, do you think those parents will really change their minds? Or will they just keep making fun?" Mia's voice became more tentative. Sarah hesitated, searching for the right words. "Change takes time, sweetheart. Sometimes people need to see things differently before they can accept them." As they reached their car, a familiar figure approached. Mr. Ramos, one of the kinder dads in the league, offered a small wave. "Hey, Sarah, Mia. I just wanted to say, well, I thought what you did was brave today. Really." Mia lit up, her previous worries momentarily forgotten. "Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way before." Mr. Ramos scratched his head. "Ginger might not be a typical player, but you made a good point about acceptance. We all deserve a shot, right?" Sarah felt the tension in her shoulders lessen just a bit. "Thank you for saying that. It means a lot." As Mr. Ramos walked away, Mia turned to her mother. "See, Mom, that's one person." Sarah knew the road to acceptance would be bumpy. But still, a glimmer of hope sparked in her heart. "It's a start, honey. Every little bit counts." They headed home, Mia buzzing with energy, recounting each moment of the game with enthusiasm. But as they pulled into the driveway, reality crashed back in. Coach Bill's words echoed in her mind, "You're embarrassing the league." That night, as they settled into their routine, Sarah knew they had to be prepared for the coming resistance. As she tucked Mia into bed, she leaned down and whispered, "You've shown so much strength today, sweetheart. Never forget that." Mia nodded, her eyes heavy with sleep, but still gleaming with determination. "We'll show them, right, Mom, that Ginger can be part of the team." "Absolutely," Sarah said, brushing a strand of hair from Mia's face. "Together, we're unstoppable." But deep inside, doubt stirred. Thankful for the support they received, yet the specter of skepticism loomed larger. How could they convert the undecided? What would it take to break through the hardened minds of those like Coach Bill? Just then, Ginger bounded into the room, tail wagging, blissfully unaware of the somber undertones. Mia giggled, pulling her close. Sarah couldn't help but smile at the love radiating from her daughter. But as she watched, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Glancing at the screen, a message lit up. "The next game is your last chance to prove this can work." With her heart racing, Sarah knew this was just the beginning. As the reality of the challenge settled in, she felt a swell of resolve. This community might not be ready for change, but she and Mia were determined to fight for what they believed in. Meanwhile, emanating from the depths of her mind, a nagging thought lingered. Could they really succeed in this uphill battle? The upcoming game would reveal it all. What awaited them could either build a bridge or strengthen the divide. Would it bring the support they so desperately needed, or would it lead to more conflict? As she settled down for the night, Sarah couldn't shake off the feeling that everything was about to change. For better or worse. The morning of the big game dawned bright and clear, the kind of day that filled the air with potential. Sarah stood at the kitchen counter, the aroma of brewing coffee mingling with the sweet scent of toast. Mia bounced around the living room, dressed in her bright blue jersey. Ginger, sporting her own little bandana, raced excitedly after a tennis ball. "Can you believe it, Mom?" Mia called, her voice bubbling over with enthusiasm. "Today's the day." "Yes." "We have to get there early to set everything up," Sarah replied, her heart thumping in rhythm with Mia's excitement. Every joyful giggle from her daughter reminded her of why they were doing this. But beneath that joy, a knot of anxiety twisted in Sarah's gut. The promise of the day felt overshadowed by the pressure to prove themselves. They packed the car with extra gear, snacks, and of course, a special blanket for Ginger. Mia skipped alongside as they made their way to the field, vibrating with energy. As they approached, the sight of the reserved seating sent a rush of emotion through Sarah. Parents milled about, chatting, pointing, glancing their way. Sarah could feel the weight of their stares. "Mama, look at all the people," Mia exclaimed, her excitement unwavering. "Yes, sweetie. Just remember we're doing this together," Sarah encouraged, although her voice trembled slightly. They found a spot near the sidelines, where they could make their stance clear. As Mia unleashed Ginger into the thick grass, Sarah's attention drifted to the other parents. Coach Bill stood out, arms crossed, his expression unreadable. The reminder of his earlier words haunted her. But before she could spiral into doubt, an unexpected voice interrupted her thoughts. "Hey, Sarah." It was Mr. Ramos again, making his way through the crowd, ready for the big day. Trying to be, Sarah admitted, forcing a smile. "We'll see how it goes. Come on, you too. Let's show them what we've got." He gave Mia a friendly fist bump. It caught Sarah off guard, the warmth of his support igniting a spark of confidence. The whistle blew, signaling they were just moments away from the game's start. Mia was beside herself with excitement, her eyes shining brighter than the sun. As the referee dealt out positions, Sarah watched Ginger weave around the players. Tongue lolling and tail wagging, blissfully unbothered by the tension brewing among the parents. "Look at her go!" Mia cheered, leaping into the air. Sarah joined in, clapping encouragingly, each cheer lifting a little weight from her heart. But the atmosphere shifted as the game unfolded. As the other team scored early, the derisive comments began. Small whispers grew into loud, mocking laughter. Sarah felt her face flush with heat. The sting of every laugh felt like a personal attack, and she glanced at Mia, who was still full of spirit. But with every round of laughter, her smile faltered just a bit. "Why are they laughing, Mom?" Mia asked, her tone changing from excitement to confusion, regularly looking at the sidelines where the others were whispering. "Mia, don't listen to them. Just focus on the game," Sarah urged, her pulse quickening. "Ginger can do this," Mia shouted at the top of her lungs, and for a moment, it felt like the whole field paused. Even the parents quieted, some exchanging uncertain glances. A small wave of bravery surged through Sarah. Could Mia's unwavering belief shatter the tension? Was it enough to spark change in this division? As Ginger darted across the field, Mia's cheers pierced through the noise around them. Sarah felt hope rise within her. A remarkable transformation began to occur. Not just in her daughter, but perhaps in the crowd as well. And just as the team was gearing up for their next push, Sarah spotted a familiar face slipping through the crowd. It was Jessica, the head of the local community council. What was she doing here? Sarah's mind raced with possibilities. This could change everything. Would Jessica take a stand today? As the game continued, Sarah's heart pounded with anticipation. Everything hung in the balance, and she could feel the tension shift. Would they find a way to break through? Or would the divide only deepen? The moment felt electric, charged with possibility. But would it be the breakthrough they needed to inspire the community, or just another echo in the cacophony of doubt? The next few minutes might turn everything upside down. The whistle blew again, cutting through the noise like a knife. Players scrambled, the game intensifying. Mia's voice rang out above the crowd, a beacon of determination. "Ginger, go!" The little dog sprang into action. Sarah felt a swell of pride as she watched Ginger navigate the field with unyielding energy. But beneath that pride lingered the anxiety of nearly every glance cast in their direction. People were watching, judging. Would Jessica's presence help? Jessica stepped closer, her hands shoved deep into her pockets, a skeptical expression on her face. But then, as if struck by the electric energy from the field, she broke into a smile. It wasn't just any smile. It was one of recognition and warmth. Sarah dared to hope. Would Jessica rally support for her community's underdog? "Look, Mom!" Mia shouted again, drawing Sarah's attention back to the field. Ginger had positioned herself perfectly, poised as she awaited the ball. In that instant, the world felt like it was suspended, as did time itself. Then it happened. A player from the opposing team kicked the ball toward Ginger, who bounded forward just in time, snatching the ball with her mouth. The crowd erupted into a mixture of cheers and gasps, transforming the tension into sheer exhilaration. A surprised laughter rippled through the stands, washing away some of the earlier mocking. Mia clapped her hands, her joy infectious. "That's my Ginger. You see, Mom, she can do it." Jessica stepped forward, her eyes brightening. "Now, that's what I call teamwork. Who would have thought a little pup could spark such magic?" Her words rang with genuine enthusiasm, igniting a flicker of hope in Sarah. But then, that flicker faced an unexpected gust. Coach Bill, arms still crossed, muttered something to a nearby parent. The laughter from before transformed back to whispers, darker this time. "Just a lucky play," he scoffed. Mia's excitement dimmed a bit, and Sarah felt her heart sink. Did the momentum they built rely solely on a moment of luck? No, she's not just lucky, Sarah said, stepping forward as her voice trembled with an unrelenting need to defend. Ginger works hard just like Mia does. They've both got heart, and that's what makes them a team. Jessica nodded, looking from Sarah to the field, and Sarah could see a shift in her expression. Maybe it was starting to dawn on her what this game represented far beyond just a simple match. Mia pumped her fist, her resilience unwavering. Come on, Ginger, we can do this. The game marched on, and with each passing moment, Sarah sensed the crowd turning. She saw parents, who had been skeptical, lean in closer, caught by the infectious energy of Mia and Ginger's bond. Then, just as the game approached its thrilling climax, another surprise unfolded. A respected veteran player from the other team turned toward Mia and shouted, "Hey, nice play, you've got spirit." Rather than just laughter, now there was applause. The tide was shifting, small but noticeable. Voices of encouragement grew louder as Mia yelled, "We're all in this together." For the first time that day, Sarah breathed in deeply, sheltered by the small bubble of positivity that seemed to encircle them. This was more than a game, it was a reminder that every small step mattered. Each cheer, each bark from Ginger, each shout from Mia were pieces of a bigger puzzle. As the clock ticked down, Sarah's heart raced. The narrative was changing, but could they make it stick? Could the warmth of today spark an ongoing movement, or would it retreat into the shadows again once the final whistle blew? The tension held its grip tightly, but within it lay an undercurrent of hope. Everything depended on how the last moments would unfold. Would they leave today with just a good memory, or could they stand for more? One last play awaited them. Would it be the breakthrough they needed to unite their community? The tension on the field was palpable as the seconds dwindled. Mia's eyes remained fixed on Ginger, who had tightly clamped the ball between her tiny teeth, quick and alert. The world around them had transformed into a whirlwind of excitement, and Sarah could feel Mia's heartbeat echoing her own unsung rhythm of hope and determination. "Just one more big play, girl," Mia whispered, knuckles white against the edge of the fence. "We can win this." With a swift kick from the opposing team, the ball flew toward the sidelines, where it was intercepted by the defensive star of their team. A collective intake of breath filled the air as the player made a beeline for the goal. Time felt like it held its breath, too, balancing on a razor's edge as the world around them blurred. All eyes locked on the impending strike. Then, without warning, a misjudged angle from the opposing player sent the ball bouncing right into the path of Ginger. The little dog, fully in sync with Mia's spirit, leapt into action once more, a blur of fur and determination. "Go, Ginger, go!" Mia exclaimed, her voice piercing through the urgency like a flare lighting a dark sky. Ginger dashed hard, her focus undeterred by the confused shouts surrounding her. She darted forward like a tiny rocket, and Sarah felt a thrill surge within her. Could they actually pull this off? With the crowd holding its breath, the ball bounced erratically, but Ginger's instincts shone through. She skidded to a stop, tumbled a bit, then regained her footing just in time to snatch the soccer ball with her mouth again. It was a move born from sheer heart and fearlessness, and the spectators erupted. Cheers rang out, a wave of sound rolling through the stands. "Fight, Mia, fight!" Jessica cheered, momentarily swept up in the magic happening before them. Her voice had changed, no longer skeptical, but filled with that same awe resonating in Sarah's heart. Mia jumped up, hands flailing in jubilation. Yes, yes. She beamed. The spirit of the moment, electrifying and contagious, swept through the crowd. The earlier doubts began to melt like snow in sunlight, revealing the warmth of newfound respect and admiration. But Coach Bill's disapproval still loomed over them, lingering in fractured glances shared with other parents, a storm cloud resistant to the brightening sky. Just a fluke, he muttered again, yet Sarah sensed a shift in the air. For every doubt he expressed, two parents now stood clapping, their enthusiasm urging the tight-knit community towards acceptance and encouragement. Ginger, with every zigzag and leap, painted a picture of triumph, a story much more profound than mere luck. It was a story of collaboration, resilience, and an unwavering spirit that had begun to spark in the hearts of those watching. With adrenaline coursing through her veins, Sarah stepped forward, her voice firm, catching the attention of the growing crowd. "This isn't just about winning today," she shouted, her heart racing with each word. "This is about showing everyone that we can work together, that our differences make us stronger, and that sometimes all it takes is one little dog to show us the way." This cheer, a wave of emotion reaching across the field, rippled through spectators. Faces turned to look at one another, seeking connection, unity, and maybe even a sense of pride in something so pure and unfiltered. As the final seconds ticked down, the game hurtled toward a climax, and Sarah's heart pounded louder than ever. Ginger and Mia were on the precipice of making history together. But would it be enough to hold this moment, to transform a fleeting spark into a lasting flame? Everything hung in the balance, waiting for one last moment of truth. Would they leave with a victorious roar or a lesson learned? One final push awaited them, and Sarah felt the weight of that decision, both thrilling and terrifying, as the world narrowed down to one last play. As the final moments blurred into one frenetic scene, Mia focused solely on Ginger's back, each shake of the little dogs for a dance of determination. The crowd was roaring, a wild mix of cheers and gasps wrapped up in unity, swelling like ocean waves crashing against a shore lined with hopes. Just a few more seconds, Sarah murmured, feeling the energy radiating from the stands as eager faces leaned in. A couple of parents, once hesitant, were now standing steadfast, clapping rhythmically, the sound reverberating like a heartbeat. Ginger steadied herself, crouching low. The intense focus in her eyes reminded Sarah of a champion readying for the final sprint. Mia took a deep breath, feeling a surge of adrenaline course through her tiny frame. "You've got this, Ginger. One last push," she shouted, the weight of each word immediately reciprocated by the crowd. With a quick nip at the ball, Ginger was off. She sprinted toward the goal, leaving a streak of joy in her wake. Sarah's heart raced in tandem, echoing the ferocity of each determined bark as Ginger dashed forward, unyielding and fierce. It was more than just a game. It was transformation, an awakening for this little dog and for everyone watching. But the referee's whistle shattered the moment, slicing through the excitement like a knife. The opposing team had committed a foul, the game slowing as players took positions, resetting the anticipation. Sarah watched helplessly as hopes wavered for just a heartbeat. Caught between the despair of waiting and the thrill that had ignited the stands moments before. "Focus, Ginger," Mia whispered, her hands pressed against the chain-link fence as she leaned forward. She could see the little dog pacing in place, confused yet unbroken. Then, an unexpected hush fell over the crowd. A voice broke through the stillness. It was the opposing team captain. "Hey, that was pretty awesome what Ginger just did. Let's make this a fair game all around." With an encouraging smile, he turned, giving a nod of respect that rippled through the crowd like a spark igniting a bonfire. Sarah felt the lift of spirits as those around her began to stand a little taller, pride swelling in their chests. Was this the moment to prove that even in competition, goodwill mattered more than a trophy? Every eye fixed on the field again, Mia smiled at Ginger's spirit, reveling in her fierce drive that seemed to inspire everyone. "Let's do this together, buddy," she called, reflecting a bond formed through trials. Most would have given up. But not Mia, not Ginger. The whistle blew again, and with determination clear on each face, all players assembled for the final play. Ginger was ready. The crowd roared like a lion's pride, clapping and chanting "Ginger, Ginger, Ginger," a wild crescendo that buzzed in the air. But then a cloud passed overhead as Coach Bill's eyes narrowed. "What are you kids doing? You think having a puppy on the field is just a game?" He was practically shouting, now, his voice cutting through the jubilant atmosphere with a chill. "Let her play," someone shouted from the sidelines, stirring an undercurrent of defiance. In that moment, Mia landed a resolute glare on Coach Bill. "It's about more than winning. It's about heart." Finally, someone stepped forward. It was Sarah's favorite teacher, Ms. Robin, who had always believed in the ideas of resilience and teamwork. "You know what, Coach? Let's give them a chance. Let them show us what they can do together." As the stadium buzzed with anticipation, all eyes turned to see what would happen next. Would they stand against the tide of disapproval, or would the flame of unity dim in the face of challenge? Mia and Ginger stood at the threshold of something greater, and Sarah held her breath, feeling an overwhelming urge to cheer them on. Because in this game, even more than the outcome, it was about the lessons learned and the hearts won. Would the team band together to prove them all wrong? As Mia stood firm, eyes locked on Coach Bill, time felt suspended. He was a mountain of skepticism, waving off their hopes with every word. But Mia was no longer just a girl with a dog. She was a fierce defender of their bond. "Ginger's got heart," she shouted, her voice rising above the noise. The cheers around her pulsed with encouragement, mixing into a powerful symphony that reverberated through the air. Even Sarah could feel it, a current of unshakable belief flowing from the stands, igniting the spirit of community. Coach Bill's expression softened for a heartbeat, then hardened again. "It's just a game," he snapped. His eyes darted around, as if seeking backup from fellow coaches or parents. But they were glued to the field, united behind the duo of Mia and Ginger. Then, Mia took a small step forward, her small frame reflecting a giant's courage. "It's not just a game. It's about showing everyone that teamwork matters, adventure matters. That's what Ginger's here for." She cast her gaze over the field, the blossoming sense of purpose reaching every corner of the stadium. With each powerful chant of "Ginger, Ginger, Ginger," from the crowd, a sense of momentum shifted in favor of the underdogs. Even The older kids on the team huddled together, exchanging glances. Their initial hesitations giving way to a collective realization of the moment's significance. Fine. Coach Bill finally relented, though he looked like he was swallowing something bitter. But let's see how it plays out. Mia's heart surged with hope, while Ginger bounced on her paws, ready to get back into the action. The whistle blew again, and Mia felt like the world was holding its breath. Would they remember this moment? Would they realize that joy could sprout from a simple puppy's play? As Ginger resumed her position on the field, a burst of realization struck everyone at that moment. They weren't just participating in a game. They were reshaping how the world viewed challenges. The ball rolled closer, and as the game intensified, so did the urgency in the energy around them. Players dove, tackled, and chased, all while Ginger weaved her way through the chaos, her little body moving with unexpected agility. The crowd gasped, then roared as she intercepted the ball near the opposing team's goal. Mia cheered along with the rest, heart pounding in sync with Ginger's little paws dancing over the grass. Go, Ginger. The words slipped free, cracking like fireworks in the air. But then a sudden shift in the game brought the reality crashing back. Just as Ginger prepared for a decisive push toward triumph, the ball was kicked away by an overly determined opponent. In that split second, confusion rocked the stands. No. The crowd groaned collectively. Mia's breath caught in her throat. Could they still overcome? All around, families gasped and clutched their seats, eyes wide, holding on to every chance as Ginger, unfazed, turned on her tiny paws to run after the ball again, determination sparking in her bright eyes. As seconds ticked by, everything hung in delicate balance. Would they find their rhythm again? Would the spirit of unity prevail, carrying them toward victory? In that charged moment, a quiet, beautiful thought emerged in Mia's mind. Was this game creating change bigger than the scoreboard? It became crystal clear. Ginger wasn't just chasing a ball. She was chasing hearts. But as the final minutes approached, doubts began to creep back in. Could they hold on to that courage, or would it eventually slip through their fingers like sand? The clock was ticking, and Mia's heart raced faster than before. What would happen next? In the final moments of the game, the air felt electric, charged with emotion and anticipation. Mia's heart raced as she watched Ginger dart around the field, her fluffy tail wagging high. The crowd roared around them, a chorus of encouragement fueling both the girls' and the dogs' determination. Come on, Ginger. We can do this! Mia shouted, her tiny frame bouncing on the edge of the field. Sarah stood by the sidelines, her heart swelling with a mix of anxiety and pride. The earlier doubts from Coach Bill faded into a distant murmur, replaced by an inspiring wave of support from fellow parents. Slowly, a shift was occurring in the community's stance. They were witnessing something profound, an unexpected alliance blossoming around a spirited little puppy and her determined best friend. With fierce determination, Ginger sprinted toward the ball that had skittered into the corner of the field, her instincts sharper than ever. The thunderous cheers intensified, urging them forward. Mia could feel the pulse of her team and community behind her. This was more than a game. It was a moment transcending every petty rivalry. And then it happened. Just as Ginger lunged forward, another player collided with her, sending both tumbling in a flurry of fur and paws. Gasps filled the air, holding a collective breath. Would this be it? Ginger, undeterred, sprang to her feet faster than anyone could blink, eyes bright with resolve. Mia's voice cut through the silence, breaking the tension. Get up, Ginger, you can do it. And, almost in response to Mia's words, Ginger pounced back into action, racing toward the ball like a comet streaking through the sky. The clash of cheering from the sidelines grew louder, blending seamlessly with Mia's impassioned chants. The community that had stood divided was becoming a family, united in a sudden swell of hope. Sarah looked around and saw faces soften as laughter mingled with cheers, shimmering sparks of joy igniting even the harshest hearts. Ginger, you've got this! Sarah shouted without thinking, her fists clenched tightly. With every frantic shake of the little dog's tail, courage unfurled in the spectators. One by one, parents began to stand, applauding Ginger's relentless spirit. Coach Bill crossed his arms tighter than ever, struggling to suppress the undeniable pull of admiration creeping into the corner of his stern expression. As Ginger made her way toward the goal, hearts were pounding in sync, a collective heartbeat echoing through the crowd. Mia crouched down at the side of the field, shouting encouragement. Kick it, Ginger, just one more. And then the moment arrived. As the opposing team made one last desperate attempt to block Ginger, she pivoted on her little paws and danced around them with newfound grace. She was not just a puppy. She was a champion in every sense. The ball rolled slowly toward the goal, inching closer as if time had turned elastic. The stands collectively leaned forward, a wild blend of laughter and screams erupting. Some parents exchanged incredulous glances, while others joined in the cheer. Go, Ginger! In that heartbeat, Ginger nudged the ball, sending it soaring past the goal line like a shooting star. The whistle blew, the world held its breath, and then broke out in euphoric applause. The game had ended, but the celebration felt like an entire new beginning. The final score didn't matter. What transcended was a spirit of togetherness, an eager acceptance that echoed through Maple Grove. Mia jumped up and down, laughter spilling from her lips, her eyes sparkling with delight. We did it, Mom. We really did it. Sarah rushed to her daughter, enveloping her in a hug filled with warmth and pride. You were amazing, sweetheart. You both were incredible. Her voice quivered, overwhelmed by a tidal wave of emotion. Coach Bill stepped forward, his face breaking into a reluctant smile. I see now what you mean about heart and teamwork. Ginger has a fierce spirit that can inspire us all. Mia beamed, her grin stretching from ear to ear. It was a moment of victory for them all. As the crowd continued to cheer, Sarah felt the bond of their community begin to strengthen, uniting them through heart and acceptance. Little Ginger had transformed not only the game but the hearts of everyone present. In the days that followed, more parents stood up, sharing stories, making connections, all embracing the vibrant diversity that now encapsulated Maple Grove. Sarah watched as her neighborhood brought new members into their fold, strengthened by a simple game that allowed champions to show everyone what matters most: love, hard work, and the courage to be different. As days rolled into weeks and voices turned into celebration, Sarah smiled as she witnessed the changes unfold. It became clear that this battle was won, but the fight for acceptance and understanding in their hearts was just beginning. This was not just the ending of a story. It was the ignition of a movement, one that would leave an indelible mark in the fabric of Maple Grove's community. Sarah realized they had connected not just as mother and daughter, but as catalysts for change, a strong flame of hope igniting others as they stepped forward, one foot at a time, into a brighter and more compassionate future. Remember, take that spark with you into the world. Now, if you want to keep riding this wave of transformation and inspiration, you need to subscribe here immediately. This is the moment to show your support. Don't forget to leave a like now. You're helping fuel the algorithm's heartbeat. Comment your thoughts on this incredible journey and how it touched your heart. And share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait, not even one more second, to help spread the love and acceptance we all need.